when an eagle is being attacked by a small bird like a weaver bird.
Yes.
And the eagle doesn't struggle. The only thing that an eagle does is that the eagle flies higher and higher and higher, because the eagle knows that when it goes higher,
yes,
the small bird will suffocate and cannot survive like the eagle in the highest. Let me ask you this. You mentioned something about the presidency. This question is very much important. Assuming that right now we are approaching 2027, and by God's grace, you get opportunity to serve as the president of the Republic of Kenya. What are the things that you as a president will do different from these other presidencies or these other presidents?
Yeah, in Kenya, what I see lacking much is that all the presidents of Kenya have always focused on how to solve the economic problem using two economic tools. One, high taxation and borrowing. We have not gotten a president who is talking about what I would call value generation. What I mean by value generation, and I'm just looking at my phone here just to show you something very remarkable. I already developed a model, and the model is called Evolve. You see, Evolve.
Yeah.
Evolve is the model. So what is happening is that all the presidents of Kenya either raise taxes or borrow more. Like Uhuru did not raise a lot of taxes, but Uhuru borrowed a lot. So then Ruto is now doing both. He's borrowing a lot more and taxing a lot more. And is choking the economy. So as a head of state, one thing you need to put in order is that you have to have an economic ideology. Mine is called Evolve. So Evolve has 6 letters. Each letter has a meaning. So the first word is E, economic turnaround. Now, what do I mean by economic turnaround? All the sectors of economy which are suffering, you have to do a turnaround. For example, pyrethrum, dairy, tea, coffee. You go to cotton. Those will bring, they're already there, isn't it? But they have been abandoned, so they are dying. Tourism, isn't it? Mining, like you see when you go to Taita Taveta, isn't it? So all that has gone wrong economically, I will put some investment and focus on how do you turn around what was working.
But right now is not working.
Yes.
Dormant.
Can I give you an example? Do you know that the county councils, before this devolution came, there was what used to be called county council, isn't it? Do you know that county council could borrow money to the national government? Yes.
How?
Let me ask you. Do you know, have you ever gone to look for a visa for Malaysia?
No.
Do you know that you don't need a visa to go to Malaysia? Yes.
Why? And these are the places you have.
Now, when Moi was the president, the national government of Kenya was given money by the county council governments, and Moi gave grant, not a loan,
grant
to Malaysian government when Malaysia was in economic turmoil. So when Malaysia recovered, they said Kenya will never pay a visa to Malaysia. Yes, we don't pay visa. So the money was being generated by the county council. So there's a lot of generation, and that's why even I become president, but actually even before I become president, by the way, I don't want to say when I become president. I've discovered that if I go the route of politics, I might end up the same route. I'm beginning with an economic recovery strategy now.
So your foundation is based on economy.
So I'll talk about economic turnaround. Let me go to the second, and then I explain what I will do now. The second called value generation. What's value generation? And I take you to the Bible. When Moses wanted to lead the Israelites from Egypt, Canaan, they met the river. Then God asked Moses, what do you have in your hand? I have a stick. So heat.
Like the water.
Isn't it? And that happens. So what we're saying is use what you have. What does Kenya have? Do you know that each and every county in Kenya, among the 47 counties, 42 counties out of 47 counties can put aside 1 million acres of land, which is doing nothing, but people are dying of hunger. Yeah. Do you know Kenya, the whole area for Kenya is 583,000 square kilometers, isn't it? And do you know how much is habitable? Where people are living, only 28% are occupied or is under use.
So the other 72
is just no, it's just neither here nor there. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm coming out with a bill, and this bill, when passed in Parliament, should change the land policy to set aside something like 250,000 acres of land for agricultural production. So let's say you want to produce avocado. I've calculated that if you are doing 60 avocados per month, isn't it, per tree, per acre, you can generate 125,000 shillings per month, per acre. Then you employ 2 people to become farm managers per acre. You'll have given 2 young men jobs in every acre. So if there are 250,000 acres in that county, you'll have given 500,000 jobs in one county. You get to me? Now with 500,000 jobs, they should be earning a minimum of 30,000 shillings per month per person, isn't it? So I've done my math and discovered if 500,000 people are in jobs earning 30,000 shillings per month, the multiply effect that if I just pick PAYE from there, you'll get 4.85 billion shillings per county in revenue. So if you multiply by 42 counties, that is 1.89 trillion shillings that you receive by generating for people. I'm just an avocado. Even I've done the mapping for the where you can do ranches for cows. I've done another one for the North Horn, where you can actually do camel, isn't it? So every area has their product. That's why my own ideology says that hekima mashinani. Nenda mashinani, you know what people want on the ground. Alafu rasilimali mashinani. Take the local resources and see how the wisdom on the ground plus the resources on the ground can generate the fruits on the ground, matunda mashinani. So even I'm discussing the coast province like Malindi, Taita Taveta, this will be my main policy. If you can generate 1.89 trillion shillings from people who are unemployed, isn't it? What will happen? You can offer free healthcare and free education. And then when you offer free education, Kenyans will have money in their pocket. But when someone tells you that I'm going to lower interest rate so that Kenyans can have money in their pocket, he's scamming you, he's lying to you. Because 19 million Kenyans are on CRB. Yes, that is 66% of adult population are on CRB. Maybe me and you here are on CRB, but people don't know, isn't it? Yeah. So many people are on CRB. Fuliza, Kenyans are borrowing 2.5 billion shillings per day on Fuliza. Per day? Yes, per day. Every day. Go and ask Safaricom if I'm lying. So with this one, you can't. Hustler fund, people never paid, isn't it? And the income levels are high. So what I'm looking at, a value generation, is to look for how can you create jobs for people and how can you produce a lot so that when there's a lot of production going on, a value addition, we have a lot to produce, inflation will go down. Because inflation is always supply versus demand. When you have more money than what to buy, the prices go up. So when you're producing a lot of avocado that we're even exporting, isn't it? What will the price of avocado in Kenya? It will be negligent, isn't it? So that will lower what? Lower inflation. Because inflation in Kenya is 5.1%. Inflation in China is 0.2%.
Why is ours? By the way, why is ours 5?
Because we are producing nothing. We are mostly importing. So this government focuses on demand side of the economy. I'll focus on the supply side of the economy. When you have more supply, demand will be lower than supply, and therefore you have a surplus in the economy that you can export, and therefore the inflation goes down. The same way with interest rate. Because now, if you are generating a lot of money in the economy, why are you borrowing more from outside? Because we borrow from somewhere to borrow to Kenyans. That's why the interest rate in Kenya is 28%, isn't it? While the interest rate in China is 2.9%, isn't it? In the US is 4.9%. So they are having lower inflation rate than exchange rate. If we are generating a lot of money here, we are generating a lot of produce here, we don't have to export a lot, so then we don't have to suffer the FX cost of exchanging dollar for Kenya shillings. And then we grow our economy. So for me, the economic ideology is very clear what can be done and can solve the problem, not just I'm guessing. So I've told you, first of all, I talk about the issue of economic turnaround, E. The second one is V, value generation. The third one is optimize talent. Optimizing talent is this way. Do you know how gifted Kenyan youth are?
Very.
They can thrive in sport, in music, in arts, in technology, and education, isn't it? Now, instead of abducting people who are only abducted because they are intelligent enough to know you are incompetent, isn't it? They're intelligent enough to know that you are corrupt. For me, they say, Professor, you are corrupt. I say, hey, excuse me. So come and tell me what I need to do.
What I need to do.
Let's have this conversation. So I tell them, okay, I'll challenge you. Corruption is taking place because of poor supply chain management. Can you design an AI supply chain management in a way that is so flawless that anybody stealing from the system will be known? Will
be known.
If you tell, for example, Kibet the bull, do this, they will do it. They will do it in a flip. And the solution will be over. For example, when someone says, IFMIS is not even owned by Kenya. You had that statement. IFMIS is not even owned by Kenya. No one knows who owns IFMIS. And the government has no data for IFMIS. Now, if you tell a Kenyan to sort out the issue of IFMIS, they'll do that.
They will do it.
So for you, come with scams that Yadani should come and do for us, isn't it? So I'm trying to say optimizing talent means that the Kenyan youth or just any Kenyan will be put into use. Now, do you see that nowadays when we have what's called the tribal disagreement between one community and the other, for example, they're saying that development has been taken from Mount Kenya to Luo Nyanza. Now, who should solve that problem?
Is the president?
No. These old people who are retired, there are some old retired civil servants. They have a use that they are not being put to use. Optimizing their experiences, because the war between different communities took place when we were not there. Some of them knew, even some elders they worked with in Luo Nyanza. For example, if you go, for example, somebody like Joseph Kaguthi. Joseph Kaguthi was the PC of Nyanza. He would talk to every chief, every DO. So if Luos are fighting with Kikuyus, you just call Joseph Kaguthi.
Because in a better position.
Yes. He knows the chief who had the most trouble areas. He even knows where the most thieves come from. You know, a PC knows everything. Then he was also PC for Nairobi, isn't it? Then he was working for Nakada finishing alcohol. He has experience where even when Gachaga was talking about finishing alcohol in Mount Kenya, he could just have to call Kaguthi. So I'm saying also equally there must be a Luo who was also a PC in another area. So when you bring all these guys, we are having a possible tribal clashes when elections are nearing. Sit down. They are optimizing their talent. There are some things women are good at. For example, savings, isn't it? Women are good in SMEs building. So optimizing talent means you look for Kenyan talent and you put that talent into use than into waste. So that's what it means to optimize talent. That is That is the third one. The fourth one is leverage strategic partnership. We have partners who can come to invest in Kenya, but they fear red tapes, they fear corruption, they fear where someone is being told, yangu iko wapi, na mimi nitapata nini, sivyo.
All about shares.
Yes, so somebody is standing at the door. When you have a lean and clean government, people come to do partners with you. For example, the money I'm saying to start investing in agricultural production, you can get a development partner from abroad who will come and set up everything and put their money. I don't want something for me, isn't it? But if I have to get something for me, no one will come. So partnerships are going to Ethiopia. Partnerships are going to Rwanda. Partnerships are going I don't know where. While for us, we are difficult because of the corruption. You see, Adani, you heard how many bribery was taking place for Adani contract to be given. Isn't it? You had that. I don't want to go to the numbers.
Yeah, we discussed it.
So that's it. The other one, V, is called Vulnerability management. Okay. How many people are vulnerable in Kenya? That's another V. Evolve. So V.
Yeah, V.
Vulnerability management. How many people are vulnerable? People with a disability. How can you enhance them and make them useful? I remember when I was in Spain, I was looking for a place to stay. So there's a hostel in Spain called In-Out Hostel. Please go and check it. You'll see something amazing. You know these people with autism and Down syndrome, they were put there. They're the ones who do manual work. For example, they sweep, isn't it? They're the ones who serve you, isn't it? First of all, us, we hide them.
Yeah, we hide them.
We hide them at the embarrassment. For us, we want to bring them. They are vulnerable, but we want to bring them to use. They manage libraries.
Yeah, that's
isn't
true.
it?
Yeah.
So there's work for people who are vulnerable, whom we're not using. Now, all the people are also vulnerable, insurance, medical insurance. So there are many, even not just people, but also sizes of the economy. There are some segments of the economy which are vulnerable. So vulnerability management. How can we manage the vulnerable so that everybody feels inclusive? Because my mantra is this: Kenya will be built by all Kenyan using all Kenyan resources all the time. Can I repeat?
Yes, repeat that, please.
Kenya will be built by all Kenyans, even if you are disabled.
You are a Kenyan, as long as you are a Kenyan. Yeah.
So Kenya will be built by all Kenyans using Kenyan resources all the time. So that means put Kenya first. Simply, put Kenya first. In procurement, put Kenya first, isn't it? When it comes to the issue of when you want to offer a service, for example, if I become president, all these things, lack of trust in election system, a Kenyan must develop the system for election here. Then we tell Americans, you now audit and tell us how you can work. Rather than tell Americans, develop the one and bring. Now the system we don't know. Remember when I was in Bomas, I asked people, is the IBC managing the system or the system managing IBC? Because there's a time when Chebukati said, hey, I don't understand this system now. Then I asked him, it was live press, I asked him, is the system managing IBC?
Or IBC is managing the system.
So Kenyans, we are being given an election done by technology we have not developed, we don't even know, is gone by someone in Italy or in Turkey.
Who is not with us.
Or in Greece. Then we get the wrong results. We cannot even verify. Then we go to Supreme Court to fight ourselves. Then we go to the city to fight ourselves. Then we form a handshake government. So why should a government invest 66 billion shillings only to end up with a handshake government? Whereby Raila got 7.9 million votes. No. I think I'm biased. I'm thinking Raila won anyway. I'm saying Raila got.
You said it here that Raila won.
Raila got 6.9 million votes. Ruto got 7.1 million votes. Now they are together. So it means all the 14 million votes were given to one person, but we fought. Why did you have to hire technology for 66 million shillings? Why did we have to have an election for 66 million shillings? Billion, not billion.
Billion.
66 billion shillings. Then we have the same people elected now working together. All of us are watching and saying, what is happening? Raila says, I'm not in government. Ruto says, Raila is in government so that we work together. So we don't know. You know what I mean?
That confusion.
So that one is important. I call it vulnerability management. Then the last one, I call it environmental stewardship. You know, there's so-called PPP. People, planet, and profit. So this P is planet. If Mother Earth doesn't breathe well, doesn't feel well, nobody feels good. In fact, before the modern medicine came, the environment used to treat people. You know that? The environment can treat you. Why do people go for holiday in, I don't know, some places, like there's an hotel called Lake Bogoria in Marigat, which was discovered by Moi. I don't know if that's Moi. They have what's called healing soup and the healing waters.
Just made from...
when you drink the soup there, boy,
it does what is known as detoxification.
Yes. But not only that. Do you know why people go there for honeymoon?
No.
Even to celebrate your love, I'm here if you drink that soup. The spirit comes back alive. So I'm saying the environment can treat people. If you treat the environment well. If you mistreat the environment, it comes back. I heard Ruto talking about the issue of ensuring that Nairobi River people can swim. Of course, now.
How that was that?
How dare
Does
you?
it add up?
But what I'm trying to say, actually, those things can happen if there's a plan. But see, this is just promises. There's no plan. So even carbon trading can be done. Like if you go to Nyandarua, there are so many forests there that actually can do carbon trading. So how can we bring environmental stewardship, protect the environment, let the environment protect us when we protect the environment? We let the environment treat us by treating it well. Wangari Maathai, the Nobel Prize winner, I'm so proud of her, isn't it? She said that nature is very unforgiving. Isn't it?
Yeah,
nature is
very unforgiving.
So why are we having temperatures we can't understand? Why do you have climate change? How come there are some diseases you can't explain? How comes you can find a young child with cancer? How should young children suffer from diabetes? It is that we have interfered with what God created. Remember, God does not interfere with the law of nature. God created the nature, and God will not interfere with it.
What he created.
Yes, so if you interfere with it, it is that thing to interfere with you. God does not intervene and say, please forgive Boniface. No. You get me? God will allow nature, because God created the universe on the fifth day and said everything was good. By fifth day, everything was good. And no one interfered. Then on the sixth day, they created man. And woman.
And woman.
Yeah. Then things are going wrong.
So, first day to the fifth day, everything was just okay.
If God did not create man,
then...
I don't know, but maybe, I don't know, but I'm saying everything could just be good.
It could just be good.
But when man was created and woman, then they started saying, sin. Then I don't know what. This sin became many things. So the environmental sin, like I'm a Catholic, there's what you call environmental sin, that if you commit, you have to confess to the priest on your confession. So environmental stewardship should be clean drinking water, being guaranteed to everybody. Because you can tell me about, I don't know, we are planting trees. Guys, these people can't drink clean water. You understand? I had the other day Alfred Mutua saying he wants to build Formula 1 in Machakos. And there's no sewer, there's no drinking water.
How do you build such a thing in Machakos?
When I look at all these leaders coming from Machakos, you ask yourself, really? Charity Ngilu did something about water, but of course there was a lot to be done. I also have to empathize that Ukambani is not a very easy area to develop. But there are also areas which were good. Do you know Ukambani, Machakos was supposed to be the capital city of Kenya?
Of Kenya.
Yeah, it just happened that the railway was passing through Nairobi, and the railway attracted so many things. I don't want to talk about it, but I'm trying to say that railways actually took it from them. But Machakos is a very fertile area. When you go to Machakos, the mangoes you can eat there are naturally so sweet. In fact, there's a time I went to Machakos, I said, I'm not having lunch. I'm just eating mangoes.
Mango. Just sit under a tree.
Sitaki kuweka ugali kwa tumbo because hiyo iko Nairobi. Kini hizi mangoes haziko. Man. So I'm saying environmental stewardship needs to thrive. If you go to the areas like the Rift Valley, beautiful. How can you make the beauty of Rift Valley be commercially viable for the people in Rift Valley? Like when you drive through Baringo, there are some places in Kenya when you drive, unasema kweli Mungu yuko. Hii Nairobi kama uko na uwezo na Mungu. How can you see Mungu in Nairobi?
You can't.
Ati batatu imekupita, bodaboda karibu ikugonge, unaona? You are in hell, right?
It's chaotic.
Yeah. When you drive along the Baringo, when you just come from Kabarak, and you're taking that route going to Marigat, and God is there. You see
the
how
green now.
Yes, how the mountain, the stones have been cut like God was the designer of everything.
And the way in the morning, the moisture and all that.
So that I'm telling you, environmental stewardship has to be done, but not just there. You go to Coast Province, there's a lot of things. Blue economy is also factored in. So that is what my economic vision is all about. It's just in a word, 6-letter word. Evolve. Badilika. Evolve. E-V-O-L-V-E. Each of them with a meaning that touches the economy and the society. So if I would become president, that's my economic vision. And it's very clear to me that they can happen. And based on tried and tested models. Yeah.
But I'm sorry to say this, but our president is evolving by changing people. Like that is the only way he can evolve. Anyway, your last statement as we wind up, Prof.
Mine is to tell Kenyans that you've heard these things whereby I've said it clearly that the Kenyan problem is economic.
Yeah.
And the Kenyan question is an economic question. So Kenyans, I'm telling you, look at me in the eyes. Do not accept to be driven to a political solution to an economic problem, because it will not work. It has never worked anywhere. Remember when we went to the street on 25th of June? Me, I didn't go as a Gen Z. I'm not a Gen Z. I don't need to pretend. I'm not a youth. I'm youthful, but I'm not a youth. We only share ideology with them. I went to the street as well. We were looking for economic solution to our economic problem. Then the president told us, Muningoje 2027. The president is uncomfortable to engage us in an economic discussion. He wants to go to a political discussion because he thrives very well in a political arena, but not economic arena. Let us not follow him. When you see some teams forming like Wamunyoro forming, they are trying to solve economic problem with a political solution. Kenyans don't have jobs. People are dying of hunger. Healthcare is in shambles. Education is in trouble. Why are we rushing now to forming IBC? Why are we rushing to election forming political formations? Yet, the fundamental problem is the economy has not been addressed. We are watching 9 people sitting in the College of Insurance to hire 9 people, isn't it? Who will now be sitting in IBC, who will only hire 1,882 people, isn't it? Using 66 billion shillings, isn't it? Which will be disbursed 100%. Yet, education CBC, we need 85 billion, and they have only put 3.3 billion. We cannot solve the Kenyan problem, which is economic, with a political solution. You've had all your kingpins, from Luo Nyanza, Ukambani, all of them, they say, even Gikuyu, we are poor because one of our own is not yet in status. That's not the solution, my brother and sister. There are some areas which are richer, they have never seen a president. But there are some areas very poor and they have many. Numbers don't lie. Rift Valley has given us now, like William Ruto is in his first term, by the time he's done, now actually currently we've gone, he'll be done, Rift Valley could have given us 30 years. Now it is 27. Mount Kenya had 35 solid years with the president. For example, Kenyatta 15, Uhuru 10, Kibaki 10. That's 35. But you know that Jigas is eating people in Madhioya, in Nyeri. And Nyeri Kibaki came from. So for you, if Kikuyus have not solved their problem for 35 years with the president, how many years do you need of the presidency? 1 million years? So let's forget about this tribal balkanization, people being called Luo Nation, Kikuyu Nation. Those things don't exist. We have Kenya. Let us be patriotic to our country. Let us be loyal to our mission. Let's focus on uniting this country. I can tell you, political questions divide us. Economic questions don't. That's why everybody went to the street for the economy. Corruption, everyone hates it. Integrity is what all we want for. Accountability, every Kenya craves for it. But when you talk about, I want to be president, then you come to an issue. That's why I'm going to champion for economic liberation. Should that be the route to the presidency? Fine. But should I only achieve economic liberation, my heart will rest in peace, because I'm in this world because I believe God created me for a certain purpose, which is called in theology fundamental option. My fundamental option was to solve some economic issue of some kind for my country, Kenya. So God, I want to tell God that I don't know whether I'm doing the right thing, but my intention, Lord, is to serve you and to please you. Whether I please you or not, I don't know. And for where I have not been able to do it well, I only seek for your forgiveness and forgiveness of Kenyans, because that's what we have to do. Our fundamental option is to solve the Kenyan problem. And I hope, Bon, that that's what we have to do. We don't know. In fact, not knowing that you don't know is the beginning of knowledge. A fool is the one who says they know everything. Yeah. For me, I don't know everything, but I know that if I'm given a chance to lead this country, I can be able to use the same people who have given me the chance to lead them, because I'm not leading on my behalf. I'm leading on their behalf. And should anybody in power get this right, Kenya can thrive. And thank you very much, my brother.
Wow, that is a very, very strong and very serious end, Max.
Thank you very
The
much.
only thing that I can say is that when an eagle is being attacked by a small bird like a weaver bird,
Yes.
and the eagle doesn't struggle. The only thing that an eagle does is that the eagle flies higher and higher and higher, because the eagle knows that when it goes higher,
Yes.
the small bird will suffocate and cannot survive like the eagle in the highest sky.
Well,
All guys, that is all we had for today. And until we meet again in the next video, if it is possible, I have been your host, Boniface Owino. Bye bye.
wow. You're the man. An eagle. Now I'm